here's the issue. And this is what happened to me. And this is what I realized is that the ego is powerful and the ego gets in the way. And the ego will jump in and be like, you don't have to do that. You've been working real hard. You don't have to get up early because you worked so late last night. Get some rest. You don't have to work out today because you worked out real hard yesterday.
Welcome to Stay Paid Insurance and Financial Marketing. Unlock the secrets of success in insurance and financial services, where each episode delivers valuable tips and strategies to elevate your marketing game and help you succeed in both life and business. Brought to you by Reminder Media. Welcome to Stay Paid Insurance and Financial Marketing. My name is Joshua Stike, along with Luke Acree, and our guest today is Greg Birch. Greg is the president of Delta Financial, veteran-owned insurance firm focused on leadership, service, and betterment of its employees, clients, and partners. Over the last 4+ years, Greg has gained the skills to become a record-breaking producer in the insurance industry, and he's taken that experience to build teams and agents to reach those same top levels. Greg, welcome to Stay Paid. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me here.
Dude, Greg, excited, man. Greg's the type of guy, you have to go watch a YouTube video. Although the YouTube video might not do you justice, man. You got to go follow this guy on Instagram. I forget what it was. If it was 1% where I first met you, 1% conference.
It was 1% Nation, and it was a year ago.
Was it a year ago? Jeez, man.
A year ago.
Yeah, Greg's the type of guy you get around and you're naturally elevated, not only mentally, which you'll be today, based upon his thoughts and his wisdom, but physically as well. The guy is freaking a physical specimen. You got to go. I mean, obviously you're competing in physique competition, but I remember meeting you at 1% and we were in the gym, and I think that's where I first saw you in the gym. And I mean, I've always considered myself to be fit. There's different levels of fit, just like there's different levels of business.
Yeah.
And dude, you are just an animal. And the reason why I bring that up, obviously you deserve the compliment, but it's really your discipline that has applied. But just so the audience knows, like, how long have you been in insurance? How many years?
I've been in insurance. This is my 7th year.
7th year. And
I got in 2017.
How big is the team or agency or downline that you have right now?
So right now I have probably, and on the life side, 55 agents across the nation. 55 agents. And then on the Medicare side, which we're building on Medicare, we started last year, really.
Okay.
We wanted, it was like a test bed of like, hey, we're going to switch to Medicare and really kind of put our focus there. And by the end of the year, we wanted 10 agents. We had 12. Wow. And since the start of the year, because of our focus on AP, we just hit the ground running and with our marketing. And now we have probably 18 agents that are in the process of contracting, getting AHIP, getting carriers, and getting right in the field right now that have started since the beginning of January.
What made you do the Medicare? Like, why you were obviously all in on life? What made you add on Medicare? What opportunity did you see there? Why was it a natural fit?
So I had a conversation with a guy that him and I were friends on social media, on Facebook. And I was in the middle of transitioning out from one company to another back in 2021. And he reached out to me and he was like, hey man, just know that I've been watching your content and I see you and I know what you're going through. I know what you're going through. And we started having a conversation back and forth. And he lives in like Massachusetts. Okay. So he flew, his name's Josh Jensen. He flew into Texas and was like, hey man, I'm actually building out Medicare. And he's like, I've been in life for X many years. I know what's going on with you because I know the people that you used to work with, and Medicare is a different animal. And this is something that you can really build wealth outside of life. Right. And I kind of was like, we'll see, maybe. But he just kept hammering on me over and over and over again. And so in 2022, at the end of 2022, he flew out again. And he came out with some male leads. He set up, on one day, like 8 appointments for him and I to go. He's like, just run in the field with me. Just watch.
Wow.
Right? And I went in the field with him. And out of those 8 appointments, we sat with 6. And he sold 10 policies in 6 appointments. He sold every single one. And it was like the easiest sale.
That's crazy.
It was incredible.
What an incredible way to recruit as well. Like, what a lesson for everybody listening to this. Like, how he recruited you was he like literally put his money where his mouth was and not only flew down to see you, but literally said, set up appointments, come with me, seat ride, watch how this could build. And that convinced you, obviously.
It did. So when I saw how easy it was, I was like, man, this is it's not even a sale. It's like this literally is an order taking, because I don't take any payment information. It's paid for by the government. But and he showed me his pay. He showed how it paid residually year after year after year, and how with one, even as an individual agent, you can build a residual income up to a 7-figure level within a decade.
Jeez.
And I don't know many other opportunities that you don't have to build a business. You don't have to build or recruit or hire other people, but you can just work yourself as an individual agent and sell at a high level, and not even a high level, like a medium level, right? A solid medium level consistently for 10 years. And at the end of 10 years, you would have a residual base that would hit 7 figures. And that's accounting or fall off business.
Yeah, I guess the pain point to Medicare, what is regulation, right? It's very regulated because of seniors. So it probably is, you got to mind your P's and Q's of how you go about prospecting there. Are you guys buying most of your leads through like lead sources and stuff for Medicare? How are you generating the ability to go get apps?
The number one way that we buy leads is mail, because mail still is king with Medicare. Because this is the demographic. These are the people that actually answer their mail. So the return rates haven't changed. In fact, they've gotten better over time. So whereas like mail on the life insurance side has gotten significantly worse, right? So like on the life insurance side, in order to get a mortgage protection mail pieces have gotten up to over $100 a piece. And when I first started in life insurance, when I first started on leads, it was like $50 a piece of mail. Depending upon the company, some were like 45, some were like 60, but average kind of median was about $50 a piece for a mortgage protection mail. They're over $100 now because of the cost of mail and the return rates, right? And Medicare is $34 a piece. And then we also co-op everyone that's selling, and we pay for 50%. My upline pays for 50%, the guy that brought me on. So you pay $17 a piece of mail.
Yeah.
And
wow.
When you're saying a piece,
you
saying a piece, you mean for the lead? Like that's the cost
for
of
the actual,
the
for the piece of paper, for the actual paper lead.
That's great. And what's the close rate on those leads?
They're pretty high. Close rates, I don't like close rates because it depends on how you work the lead.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
But if you're working, if you had an agent that was literally dialing every lead and just squeezing the juice out of every single lead, you're easily setting up. If you had 10 leads, you're setting 8 appointments. You're sitting with 7. You're selling all 7. So you could sell 7 out of 10.
Because it truly is, they need the product. You just have to be likable and an advisor, like an educator at that point.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I tell people all the time, like I did sales training when I first got into life insurance, and I was with Southwest Consulting, by the way.
Okay.
I paid for them to do coaching with me for the first year, and that was, I don't know if you've ever heard of Rory Vaden.
I don't think I have. No.
He was part of Southwest Consulting. He ended up leaving there, and he's kind of an influencer on sales. Casey kind of big on sales. He actually created a company, and now he helps salespeople turn into like public speakers and publish books, stuff like that. He helped the publishing of Ed Milet's Power of One More.
No way, man! What a massive success for that.
Yeah,
massive success.
So, anywho, so he has a very famous quote that I've used. Ever since I heard it, I was like, that makes total sense. And I tell to my sales agents all the time, I mean, it's hard to be nervous when your heart's on service. And it's so simple yet so true that if you really just focus on being in service of other people, being in service of the person you're sitting with, being present and caring about what's best for them, which means sometimes that you got to walk away because they already have what's best, right? You're never going to go wrong. You're just not.
Yeah, it's super powerful, man. What do you think it is like? Obviously, the failure rate's so high in insurance. What has been your superpower? I watch you. It feels like you're just disciplined like no other person I watch, especially when it comes to your physical fitness. I don't know if that translates to your business or not, or if you it's something else. Like, what is it about you that has enabled you to build a successful life business, and now you're building it in Medicare, but there's so many people that literally can't get off the ground. Like, what have you done differently, you think?
So I've had a few moments, some impactful moments in my insurance career that have helped to reframe my perspective on me. And really, because it's all an internal game. It's always us versus us. And that's what really holds anybody back. So the first one was, when I first started in insurance, I hit the ground running, and I actually had a lot of success starting off, which I think was a detriment to me because I thought I was special. It made me think that I had some innate, unique talents with sales, and I was good with people. So then it was just going to come naturally to me. And after about 3 months of success, I fell off of a cliff and I started to suck really bad. And I didn't know what was going on. And it's because I wasn't doing fundamentals. So, and I sucked for like 7 months straight, 8 months straight. And I had switched to another company, and I was sitting with this, I was watching all these sales take place in the company because people are posting their numbers, right? And there's this guy that's constantly posting these numbers. And so I reached out to him. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what leads are you using, right? Like, talk to me, man. I need some help. And he ends up telling me, he's like, hey, use these leads. This is a good source to start with since you're new. He's like, but I come to Dallas all the time. He lived in Chicago. He's like, I come to Dallas all the time. I come there because he was just dropping mail, and he was dropping for about 3 weeks at a time. And on the 4th week, he'd come out and he would just run like mad for like 4 days and then fly back.
Jeez.
And so he came out the weekend of November 2018, right before the weekend before Thanksgiving. And he calls me on a Saturday night and he says, hey man, I just finished in the field. What's up? You available? And I was out at a like Friendsgiving dinner with my girlfriend at the time, with all of her friends. And so I was like, dude, please save me. Let's go. So he comes out, he drives over, he's on the Fort Worth side. He drives over to Dallas. We connect, we end up separating for everybody. And we go sit at this little pizza by the slice joint called Serious Pizza in Deep Ellum. And he's like, we get our pizza, we get our beer, and he's like, hey, I had a really great weekend. Talk to me, how's business been for you? And I was like, what'd you sell? He's like, well, I ended at 36,000. And I was like, 36,000 for the month so far, right? And he's like, no, man, it's for the weekend. I was like, what? Like, and for numbers' sake, I've been doing about 3,000 a month.
Wow.
Right. And I'm like, dude, this guy is in my backyard and he's doing 36,000 in a 3-day period. Jeez. And I'm doing 3,000 in a month. Like, what is going on? So I'm like, dude, tell me, like, just what's the secret, bro? Stop playing around, And he's like, well, Greg, let me ask you some questions and see where I can kind of help you out. Is that fair? And I'm like, yeah, it's fair. So he's like, okay, how many leads are you buying a week? And he goes through this series of questions, and I'm tap dancing, bro. He's like, how many leads are you buying a week? How many appointments are you setting? Are you locking down your dial days and only dialing? How many trainings are you going to every single week, right? What's your schedule look like? How many appointments are you scheduling a week? And he said, boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, well, I bought some leads last week, but I haven't been able to sell all of them. So I wanted to maximize. And, I'm calling out a little bit every day to see who's going to answer when. And you know what? I went to this training, but this stuff I already know, and blah, 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 blah. And I think I'm answering well. And I'm not. I'm not. And after a while, he just stops and he looks at me. He was like, Greg, I know what your problem is, man. And I was like, what's that? And he leans in and he looks me right in my eyes and he's like, Greg, you think you're special and you're not. And I was like, and my initial reaction, I don't know if I can curse on here, but I was like,
you're like, F you, dude. No.
This mother effer. I'm like, who does this guy think he is? Right? Because I didn't know this guy from Adam. First time I've ever met in person.
Wow.
Right? He was a Russian American that had his American citizenship for a year. Okay. He looked and sounded like Gru from Despicable Me. I'm not even exaggerating that. And I'm like, dude, I led soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan. Like, I've got Bronze Star medals. Like, crazy, I am special.
Dude,
bro.
Thank you for your service, man. That's crazy. Yeah.
It's my pleasure, man. So thank you for the support. And I'm like, dude, you don't know me. But then I stopped and I listened to him. And he was like, the reason why I'm having success is because I'm not special either. He's like, I go to every single training. Because even if I can pick up one little nugget, even if I think I know it, I can pick up one thing that I can add to my repertoire and make me better. He's like, I buy leads every single week because it forces me to get to work, no matter what. It forces me to work. He's like, I lock down my dial days because there's nothing I'm doing that day. My family knows, like, that's what I'm doing. He was like, for example, my dial days are Monday and Thursday. He's like, what's this next Thursday? It's Thanksgiving. How many people are going to go to Thanksgiving and be like, nope, can't dial today because I'm with my family? He was like, no, this isn't my hobby. This is my business. So I'm going to dial. And guess what? Everyone's home and everyone's going to answer the phone. So I'm actually going to set appointments way faster because no one else is going to be dialing because everyone's like, oh, it's a holiday. He's like, no, F that, bro. He's like, I'm going to get to work. He's like, that's why I'm successful. And that's why, because I these are non-negotiables. These are hard stops for me.
Yeah, man.
And I went home and I was like, dude, he's so right. He is so right. So I just followed what he said. And I started following these fundamentals that everybody can follow, by the way, right? That if everyone like got out of their own way, because here's the issue, and this is what happened to me, and this is what I realized, is that the ego is powerful. And the ego gets in the way, and the ego will jump in and be like, you don't have to do that. You've been working real hard. You don't have to get up early because you worked so late last night. Get some rest. You don't have to work out today because you worked out real hard yesterday. Yeah. So,
and it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy for you. You need more sleep. That's what the brain tells you. It's what my brain was telling me today. Whew.
Yeah. And that's what it does. And it does it with, and that's why I feel that my fitness has helped me in my business, is because how you do one thing is how you do all things. Yeah. The more that you listen to that voice, you will listen to it in every area of your life. Right. So the more that I listen to it on my fitness and my nutrition and my diet, and if I'm drinking and I'm doing all these extra things that are actually causing me to have brain fog or causing me to be lazy, I'm going to be lazy in my business when that time comes up when I'm like, dude, I got to make dials all day. And my voice kicks in. It's like, you know what? There's other things you got to do too. You got to go pick up those clothes from the dry cleaning, and you got that event coming up, and you got this and that, the other. And it's like, no, man, you have to be disciplined and regimented with your time, your schedule. And when I started doing that, everything changed for me. And so I went that first year, the year that I talked to him, total, I sold $75,000 of life insurance premium, and I made about $60,000 is what I deposited. The following year, I just started applying every single thing that he said, right? And that's all I did, is I just followed what he said. And I sold $425,000 that year, and I deposited $375,000.
Mic drop. Yeah, get out of here. It reminds me of the quote, if you want to be like the 1%, you can't live like the 99.
You can.
It's just impossible. It's just not going to be there. It's just crazy. And the golden nugget really for me is like, that guy changed your whole trajectory. Now, it took you being open, so kudos to you that you were open and applied it and took action. But that guy literally, like, just sharing that changed, reframed your perspective, that led you on the path. And it's like, that's the power of having some mentors or somebody in your life that you will allow to speak into your life. And I think of this podcast right here. It's like, some people hearing this will actually affect, and they'll take action on it, and their life will be changed. And others will just have wasted 30 minutes listening to a podcast that they never applied any action to. But it's like that golden nugget. I don't want people to miss that you listened to somebody and you applied it. And then number two, you can be that for somebody. And those two things right there, I mean, are so powerful. And it encourages me. It's like you keep getting up and doing it because you might be, the despicable me guy for somebody,
I might be. and you're absolutely right, man. I'm a big proponent of having coaches. I have coaches now. I've got I got a bodybuilding coach. We talked before we started recording. I decided this year, I'm going to do a bodybuilding show because I want to. I've never done it. People always ask, dude, do you compete? And I'm like, no, I want to, but I've never done it. So finally, I was I don't know how to do posing. I don't know how to bulk to that specific level. So I'm going to hire somebody. I hired somebody literally January 1st, and I've been on bodybuilding prep ever since. And so, I have a bodybuilding coach. I have a coach with business that helps me with social media that really just teaches me how to do social media and how to create reels and content that is sticky, that pulls people in, that makes them want to view more. And then I'm part of organizations like Arete, Syndicate, and Apex that they come and do courses and trainings on business and expansion and how to be an entrepreneur that I've kind of gravitated to in order to better myself on my professional side.
How has the Arete Syndicate been?
Dude, I love it. I love the Arete Syndicate. And it's not just because
this is Ed Milet's coaching, Ed Milet and Andy Frisella. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real candid on because they do 3 Zooms a week.
Okay.
Or 3 Zooms a month. I'm sorry. 1 Zoom's by Andy, 1 Zoom's by Ed, and then 1 Zoom's both of them. And usually every month they have a theme. And so Andy will give a specific topic within that theme. Then Ed will give a specific topic within that theme. And then they'll do a Q&A at the end of the month based on that theme. Right. If you listen to Ed's show and if you listen to Andy's show, they're saying the same stuff, to be very honest.
You're going to get the same thing from their podcast. Yeah.
It's a little
so
bit
the Q&A is really where the value is.
The Q&A is where the value is.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more, but I'm hearing the same stuff that I hear on MSCEO Project. If you listen to the whole MSCEO Project, right? So, the value really is the community. I have met some incredible people that are business owners across all different types of industries that I've done business with, that I've been on podcasts with, that I've done stage speaking up here, that I've got into stage speaking. And they've been like, hey, we're doing this, hosting this event. We want you to come speak. That I've been able to speak on stage and just get more practice and more visibility. And so that is really the benefit, is being a part of like-minded individuals that are also growing their businesses. And some of them are at a high level. They're hitting 8-9 figures in their business.
Jeez. How many people are on those Zooms?
It's a what's it called?
You can't tell it's a webinar type.
You can't tell it's a webinar. So it's live. It's live because you can type.
Yeah.
Your question live.
Yeah.
But you don't see.
But you're not seeing everybody else. I got you. Okay, that makes sense. That probably means they have a ton, because if you can't allow people to be seen, it means you have so many people that you can't allow the audience.
There's 3,000, I think, in the Arete Syndicate group.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. No, dude, awesome. I feel like we're just scratching the surface, but incredible stuff.
Appreciate you sharing that story with us and your background and everything. Please, before we close out, let people know how they can connect with you.
Yeah. The best way, honestly, is my Instagram. I post content there all the time to help people. My Instagram is Gregory A. Birch _. That's Gregory A. BIRCH _. Yeah, you can go there. I'm Greg Birch on Facebook. You can go check out my website, deltafinanciallife.com, and there's a little hey, connect with us button. But if you follow me on Instagram, if you ever have a question or anything, I literally answer all my DMs, and I'm always there to help. So
awesome, man. Yeah. Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you all so much for listening. You can get all those links that Greg mentioned all in one place in the show notes of this episode, as well as at staypaidpodcast.com. If you enjoy this episode and want to show your support, head on over to Apple Podcasts, drop us a 5-star review along with a comment. We'll read it here on the show, and the best way to support the show is to simply share this episode with someone that you know. If you want to get hold of me or Luke, you can email us at podcast@remindermedia.com. And, of course, you can follow us on Instagram as well. We are at Stay Paid Podcast. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Joshua Stike.
Guys, I'm Luke Acree. Greg, man, so happy to get you on finally. Been following you since we met about a year ago. Just impressive stuff, man. Keep crushing it. Here's the action item for everybody listening to this. You know, you heard it here. It's not that hard. He went from making 60-something thousand to 300-something thousand. And it wasn't rocket science. It was discipline, focus, and knowing his numbers. And what my challenge to you all is, do you know your numbers? How many dials? How many appointments? How many appointments go off? What is that rate for you? And have you marked down your dial days versus your appointment days? Have you structured that calendar and committed to that calendar where they are non-negotiables? Because that's the difference maker. Remember, the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in every business is top producers take action. Take action on that today.